is Safira. My student number is 557. So today I'm going to tell you about Kampong Glam in Singapore. So without any further ado, let's get started. You must be want to know about short story from Kampong Glam. So I'm going to tell you about short story from Kampong Glam. Kampong Glam, it was land set aside for Sultan Hussein Muhammad Shah and 600 family members in 1824 after he signed the treaty that ceded Singapore to the East India Company. He instructed the Temenggung Abdul Rahman to build his palace here, a large atap roof or istana, in English is palace, and aside from the Sultan family, the residents of the area includes Arabs, Javanese, and Boyanese ethnies. By 1820 was built. So that's why the Sultan Mosque in Kampong Glam was a historical buildings. It's very famous in the Kampong Glam. Zam restaurant that is so famous in Kampong Glam. Then, so let's move to the famous food in Kampong Glam. So many halal restaurant in Kampong Glam, but only two famous foods, very famous from Kampong Glam. One is biryani rice. The biryani rice is the rice dish include meat, chicken, mutton or beef, a mixture of spices like mint leaves, coriander leaves, fried onions and yogurt. This is so yummy, and when you come to Kampong Glam, you can find this along the street of Kampong Glam, and the especially restaurant who selling this is Zam restaurant that is so famous in Kampong Glam. Number 2 is mutton murtabak. Murtabak from Kampong Glam is a special because they using a mutton as a meat source and different with another country. Maybe they usually using a chicken or beef in the murtabak, but in the Kampong Glam they using a mutton on their murtabak. Let's move to traditional dance from Kampong Glam. In the Kampong Glam there is a traditional dance named Bharatnatyam dance. The Bharatnatyam dance itself actually does not originate from Singapore. This dance is an old dance originating from India because mostly citizens from Kampong Glam is Muslim, India, and Bugis, so the culture maybe grow so fast. The culture maybe grow so fast in Kampong Glam, so that's why the Bharatnatyam dance is so famous there. In India itself, this dance is called Vedic dance. The Bharatnatyam dance has unique characteristic. This dance combines several gesture and music as well as expression from the dancer who dance Bharatnatyam. So the traditional dance is very beautiful. So if you want to know more, you can play Bharatnatyam dance from YouTube. Now I'm talking about the number of citizens from Kampong Glam. The number of citizens in Kampong Glam is 5,000 citizens, and mostly they are Muslim, India ethnic, and Bugis ethnic. Now we are talking about historic place in Kampong Glam. What is the historic place from Kampong Glam? In the Kampong Glam, there is a historical place in the Kampong Glam named Sultan Mosque. So Intan, what is a Sultan Mosque? So I will explain a little bit about the Sultan Mosque in Kampong Glam. As we know, Masjid Sultan or Sultan Mosque is very famous historic building in Kampong Glam. The impressive Sultan Mosque in historic Kampong Glam is the focal point for Singapore's Muslim community, with its massive golden domes and very huge prayer hall. And the Sultan Mosque is a must see if you are in the historic Kampong Glam. Do you like to take a photo? In this Kampong Glam, there is a spot Instagrammable from your photo. It's a Haji Lane. This is a Haji Lane. It is a Haji Lane. Haji Lane is in the Kampong Glam neighborhood of Singapore. Young people frequent the shop house along this lane, and for the independent fashion boutiques and Middle Eastern cafe. And this Haji Lane, there is so many mural on the wall, so you can take a photo in front of. Next to traditional clothes from Kampong Glam. Kampong Glam doesn't have a special traditional clothes, but when they in a special moment, they are using looks like a kebaya in Indonesia. So they always wearing this from about in a special moment. And then we are talking about the famous company in Kampong Glam. In Kampong Glam, there is a famous company, and the name is Jamal Kajura Aromatherapy. It's a famous company in Kampong Glam. They famous big producer of wine in Kampong Glam, and they also have wineries. So it's very famous in Kampong Glam. Next, we're talking about average people income in a year in Kampong Glam. The IMF note the average income of each Singaporean in the year reach 60. Next to currency and its value to US dollar. In Singapore, they using a dollar Singapore, and $1 Singapore is $0 and 69 US dollar. So let's do next is famous superstitious culture. The famous superstitious culture from Kampong Glam is it is said the name of the village of Glam comes from Cajuput tree. It's called Glam in Melayunis.